Hello, I'm Jim,
I'm Karen,
and we do slow travel across the globe.
and we thought it was about time we introduced ourselves. This video is going to be about how we met and about our lives since then.
So, where we want to start is, I guess, right in the beginning. Right at the beginning. I was born. No, actually, what we want to do is start by explaining how we met, and it's kind of an unusual story, I guess.
Cute. It was unusual for the time.
For the time, it was very
unusual. We
unusual.
met in 1999.
In 1999, there was something called Yahoo Personals. It wasn't a dating site. They were personal ads, but they were free. Karen and I both had jobs, and we worked a lot. So we didn't really have time to go to bars, go to church, go to social events. So I used to rely on writing personal ads.
And I relied on answering them, perusing through them, tried to decipher what was what, and try to date, because that's all I was interested in. I had a very busy career, and all I wanted to do was date.
Basically, in 1999, there were no dating apps. There were no swipe right if you like, do this or that or the other thing. You didn't pay for them. There was something called Yahoo Personals, which is defunct now. You don't even hear about them. But my social life revolved around writing personal ads. And I didn't want to get married. I didn't want to go through love. So basically what I did, I relied on my creative writing skills and my sense of humor to write ads that would let people know, hey, I'm looking just to have fun. I don't want to get married. And I did it constantly. It was my social life.
So I was dating, and I would answer the ads off of Yahoo, and because here again, like Jimmy said, that we were busy, we weren't necessarily churchgoers. We didn't, we tried perusing the grocery stores, but all we did is get fatter. So we didn't get a date. Yeah. And so I had dated probably a year or two off of them, and I had learned to hone in on the secret messages, the undertones. When they wanted to take long walks on the beach, that means they didn't have a car. They probably had 4 DUIs. When they wanted to have romantic dinners, picnics, meant they didn't have any money. So I learned pretty much how to discard a lot of the foo-foo.
Yeah.
And I read Jimmy's ad and was attracted to it. It was funny. He had written an ad about he was a retired circus worker with Bozo the Clown tattooed across his chest.
And born to party.
And was born, that's what it said under Bozo.
Yeah.
And that he was looking for a woman with a lot of land and a big shovel because he had had an elephant. So I thought it was funny, and me being snarky, I wrote back and told him about my parole officer, and then I was really trying that Methadone seemed to be working out well, and just kidded around with him back. And we did that for probably about a month of writing back and forth.
But I really, honestly, as soon as I saw her write back and say she was on Methadone, I thought to myself, this is the girl for me. I hope she's missing teeth. And by golly,
boy,
we
was
talked.
He disappointed.
We talked quite a bit. We wrote back and forth. You couldn't really talk.
Jimmy was in retail at the time, so therefore he had the varying schedules. He was a flooring expert at Home Depot, and I was running assisted living nursing home, an 81-bed Alzheimer's and memory dementia unit, and so time was in our, it was hard to get together.
Yeah.
So we finally did on a Monday morning. I'll never forget it. On October 6th, I called him from my work, and we talked, and he said, let's get together tonight at Applebee's.
Applebee's.
Big spender. Big
Yep,
spender.
big spender.
Hey,
Well,
at least it wasn't a picnic.
You originally said you wanted to go to Chili's, and I made you aware that there were some issues going to Chili's, and it had to do with flatulence. But we won't talk about that. But I thought it was better to do a date without farting. So that's what we did. We went to Applebee's. I don't know why.
I have 26 years of it since. But
well,
that's okay.
As you get to know each other, it's more common. In any case,
We did.
we set up for a date, and that date was another fabulous thing that happened during the date. I'll let Karen tell you a little bit about what we did, because back then you couldn't send a picture over the internet.
No, we had already described each other what we looked like, and I think even further we talked on in the internet, we had described each other, but it was taking it by faith. So I basically told him what I was wearing so he could recognize me. I had a nice, beautiful printed lavender and violet skirt and a violet top, and he said he would wear a violet tie.
I had a violet shirt and a violet tie.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go forward and then go back a little bit. But in any case, when I walked in the door to see Karen, by golly, I recognized her right away by her dress, because it was the exact same material as my tie. It was exact.
Print, not material.
It was the exact print as my tie. You could have put it against her skirt and it would have blended in.
It was Kismet.
It was amazing. Now, backing up just a little bit, before I ever got there, I had a couple of movies from Blockbuster. And I had to return them. So I ran and I returned the videos. It was about 2 hours before I was supposed to get there. And my car blows up.
His
The
timing
battery.
belt blew.
I got water everywhere. The radiator went kaput. So I had to go
the
find.
timing belt went.
Yeah, well.
Your engine seized stop.
Yeah, that's right.
Still,
Okay.
Jim still knows nothing about
I don't
cars.
know anything about cars. But in any case, then it was a mad dash to try to find a rental car to go see Karen. And, well, let's put it this way. There weren't very many. So I had a choice between, what was the name of the company that I told?
Enterprise.
Enterprise, a van with the name on it,
The logo.
the logo on it. So I'd be driving a
Which
Enterprise van.
screamed serial killer.
Yeah. or if I wanted to, I could rent the Durango, which is what I eventually did, and then walked in the door. Thinking, I explained to Karen about renting a car.
That the car that was out there, that for me not to get excited, it was a beautiful brand new Durango, that wasn't his, that he owned a little, a Mitsubishi or something?
Some
And
crappy little
an older car, but that he had to rent it, and he had told me the circumstances, and I said, oh my goodness. I said, why didn't you just call me and tell me what happened? And he said,
I said, if I would have called you and told you I couldn't make it, would you ever see me again?
and I said, honestly, I'm not sure. And he
I said, I'm not willing to take that chance.
and that's was the beginning of the end.
Yep, that was it.
Or the beginning of the beginning. I'm not sure.
I don't know which one. The beginning of the end sounds ominous for some reason. So after we met, we literally about saw each other every day, except for
We did.
a couple of times when when Karen went to see her best friend Debbie.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I had this planned, and well, go ahead. And she went to see her friend, but as soon as she came back, we started to see each other over and over again. It wasn't long after that I proposed, because I was desperate.
Yeah, well, and I was drunk.
And
but
she
that's
was drunk.
beside the point. That really puts a damper on this. Honestly, Jimmy was 42. I was 39. Neither one of us had children. Both have been divorced. We weren't recently out of relationships. We have been out of relationships for almost 10 years, both of us, prospectively. So it was just a situation that I think we just became fast and furious friends. It
Yes.
wasn't necessarily love. I think I've always said that I think love takes a lot longer, but we became best of friends, and we really liked each other, and we had so much in common. His father was a New York policeman, and his mother was a little short Italian woman, and he's an only child. My father was a Marine. My mother was a short little Italian woman. I'm an only child. We didn't have children. We didn't come from extended families.
And we
Both of
didn't
us-
want children.
And we didn't want children. So we kind of knocked out real quick what we wanted and what we didn't want, what we expected, what we hoped for, and we decided that I think that if it was ever going to work, this was the one.
And 2 months later, we were married.
About 3.
Okay, 3 months later, we were married.
December 24th, we decided to get married. We were going to look at getting married in the new year, but guess what?
1999
was switching into 2000.
Was switching into 2000, Y2K.
And that was Y2K when the earth was going to end, ATMs weren't going to be open, that the computer crashes were going to be around us. So therefore we decided to get married beforehand, because when the world went to hell in a handbasket, at least we'd have each other.
That's it.
So we had a very small wedding. Neither one of us had any money, not really a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. I lived with my parents because it was easy, little overhead. My stepfather was having some issues with his health. It was easy to help with and be with my mom. I'd been with my mom all my life, and we were best friends. Jimmy had a small apartment, a little studio. We lived a county apart from each other. He lived in Pasco County. I lived in Hernando.
Just to correct things, I did have money.
Oh, yes. When we discussed about who was going to take care of more of the finances, I asked Jimmy what was in his checking account, and he said 6 something. And I said 600. I didn't even try for the 6,000. And he said, no. And I said 60 something. And he said, no, he said 6 something. And I said, oh, $6 and something. And I said, well, when you only have $6 in your checking account, it's really important you need to know what the something is. So I took over the finances, but I didn't have much more than he did. So we started out in an apartment. We got married and moved in together, and we rented a 1-bedroom apartment and basically started our lives.
Yep. Karen also accepted my cat, which is a whole nother kettle of fish, because I had a cat that didn't like people.
Yeah, I was thinking that he was going to disappear, but
Karen
we became best friends.
Yeah.
But the thing that really, one of the things that drew us together is our major interest was travel. We enjoyed travel. Now, we hadn't done overseas travel, either one of us, up until this time. But we did enjoy car trips. We enjoyed traveling, and it was one of our major bucket lists. We wanted to see things. So we were too poor to take a honeymoon. Actually, we honeymooned the day after Christmas at Epcot Center, with, if you know, Florida was only about, 200 miles away? 150? Yeah. And we got to go over there, but about 9-10 months later, we had decided that we were going to take a proper honeymoon. We had saved up our shekels. We had $3,000, and we had gone to a travel agent, because back then that's what you did, and we went to Jamaica. And
Jamaica started our bug, because thereafter we decided we wanted to go to another English-speaking country again, because there really wasn't a Google Translate, and we were afraid of.
There was Rick Steves. That's what we had. Rick Steves and PBS, Public Broadcasting System, and they had a lot of travel shows, and we enjoyed watching them.
Yep.
And so that's where all of our information came from.
And if you wanted to go somewhere, you had a Rick Steves book about that thick, and any place you want to do, you would rip a page out and put that in your pocket and travel, because that's what he told you to do.
Yeah.
Which meant he would sell more books that way.
Oh, please. No, he was making sure that you didn't have a lot of, even back then, he was the first one that talking about luggage and packing light. So then after that, we went to England, and every year, our 2 weeks vacation
became more daring.
Was dedicated to European travel. So we went to Europe and knocked off the biggies. The Londons, the Parises, the Romes, and
Athens.
Yep. And that's what we did, and took side trips whenever we could. Not having children, we had a great deal of freedom. It was only our work schedules that would keep us basically calculated and the demand of travel. The only thing that restricted it was our jobs. So one of the things that we did is just save money. I was very frugal. I cooked on weekends, prepackaged lunches for us. We did not go out and eat very much.
No.
Not at all. We finally purchased a house. We did it well within our means, and I doubled up on payments to make sure that we could pay our mortgage off before the 30-year term. We would not go on a trip unless the money was in the bank. It had to be paid for.
Yeah, it was paid for or we didn't buy it.
Jimmy-
Karen was really good at that.
Jimmy once was real big on a flat screen TV when they first came out, and they were like as expensive as a car, and kept on kind of bugging me on one. And we had a trip to Scotland planned, and I finally acquiesced to him one day and said, fine, buy the TV. And he was like, what are you up to? And I said, well, you buy the TV and you buy a really good tape of Scotland, because we'll sit our asses on the couch and watch it, or we're going to go to Scotland, one or the other. I was very strict with money. So over the years, that $6.60. 60 cents.
I had up to almost $60 in my checking account in no time at all.
We had made smart investments. We had gotten very lucky with the market. We had eventually reached out and got a financial advisor. A shout out to Hernan and JP Morgan, and consolidated our money and started watching our money make money.
If I can, I'm going to say this. I had switched jobs also. I went from Home Depot and I went over to Lowe's. When I was at Lowe's, they had a stock purchase plan. Well, almost all of my paycheck, or a good portion of my paycheck, was going into both the 401k program, which I highly recommend people do at a young age, and also buying stock.
Yes.
I would say close to 60% of my paycheck easy went into that. Karen,
we lived off of mine.
Worked at it, was a...
Eventually, I moved up and around in different jobs and got a sweet gig. Thank you. At doing apartment management. I had a 650 unit apartment complex and started managing that, and really had a great 401k plan.
And she was putting maximum in her 401k also.
We decided to sell the house because it was ridiculous. We could live on property for free with all of our utilities paid, no transportation necessary. I'd be right there. So we made the decision. We sold the house. We made a couple of bucks off of it. We invested it. And now basically all of our income was free. So I was dumping all mine into my 401. Jimmy was dumping all of his into
stock and 401k.
Yep.
And I retired at 60. Karen continued to work until 62.
Yes, I did. We were gonna, and this is kind of where now we change a little bit of gears on how we decided what we were gonna do after retirement. So Jimmy retired and I was continuously working. I had a great team, so it wasn't much work, but unfortunately we started talking about retirement and gearing towards it because I would come home every night and my husband had the energy of a cat on a hot tin roof. He wanted to do stuff. I'm working, and I said, we need to look at me retiring a little bit early, because seriously, I was probably looking at 65, 68. I was enjoying my job. I had a great team. We were comfortable in what I was comfortable in what I was doing, but poor Jimmy wasn't. He didn't have a whole lot to do, and as I like to say, that either I needed to retire or we needed to have him institutionalized, because I couldn't take the frenetic energy of him sitting around the house going, what are we doing tonight? Where are we going this weekend? Because I wanted to crawl in a hole and suck my thumb because I was tired from working.
I want to make the quick statement on this, but it's true. For the 2 years that she did work while I was retired, I would sit at home, either take naps with the cat, or I'd be on the internet looking at possible places to move.
To retire to.
Those places were Portugal,
Yep.
Mexico, Georgia. And that was
not
our
Atlanta.
big.
Not Atlanta.
Not Atlanta, Georgia. We're talking about Georgia, the country, if you know. And I think I drove her crazy with talking about where we're going to move when we retire. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to stop this. We're going to end it here because this is the first part of a 2-part series. The next part you're going to hear is our
retirement
plans and what we ended up doing from that point on.
To now.
So for now, we thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank
Stay
you.
tuned.
So what we're going to do is in this part of the video now, part 1 of who Jim and Karen are and how we kind of came to this place. And we'll pick this up next week in part 2, where we're going to go over from my retirement forward, what facilitated it and what the best laid plans of Mice and Men were and how they've changed up and bring you to the future of where we're at now. We really appreciate you tuning in. We hope you weren't bored by it. We thought it was a little bit different romantic story. At least it was romantic for 99. Nowadays,
now who gives a damn now? But in any case, what we are going to ask you to do, if you made it this far, give us a like or a thumbs up.
Thumbs
at
up.
least. Or if you subscribe, we've had a lot of people subscribe in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And we want to say we really appreciate the subscriptions.
We appreciate it.
And we want to thank everybody
I still
who
don't
did.
understand.
We want to thank everybody who subscribed. We hope you stick with us. We're going to try to make this channel more and more fun as we go.
Yes.
In the meantime, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day, and we'll see you next time with part 2 of this extravaganza.